So without a doubt, the 2024 election has been one of the most controversial elections in my lifetime at least. And if you've been following the news, you would know that the fallout since Trump won has been crazy. And it's taken over academia. Exhibit A, the Yale child psychiatrist, Amanda Calhoun.
How do you interact with people who voted for this, right? If you are an LGBTQ person and you know someone in your family voted essentially against your rights, or do you recommend just from a psychological standpoint being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me. And I think, I don't think that you should force children. I don't think you should force adults to be around people just because they're your family. I think there's a level of need to establish boundaries. And if you feel like you need to establish boundaries with people, whether they're your family or not, I think you should very much be entitled to do so. And I think it may be essential for your mental health.
Look, you're within your right to cut off family members, especially if they're toxic. You don't have to keep anybody in your life who's an anchor. But if it's simply because of who they voted for, that's the last thing we need as a country. And going on the television and spreading those kind of messages is not what's going to heal America. Which brings me to Exhibit B. This Oregon staff member, Leonard Serrato.
My anger has set in. I am a very petty person, and I am very proud of that. I say this in the most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you are my family. I don't care if you're my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go f*** yourself if you voted for Donald Trump. If you are so sad about your groceries being expensive, get a better paying job. Do better in life. Get a education. Do something. Because you are stupid. And I hope you go jump off of a bridge.
Which thankfully the university placed them on leave after this. But it's clear that some people don't understand cause and effect, because it's this sort of vilification that got us to where we are as a country in the tragic state we are. Because I remember a time where you could disagree with your family members and still have a loving relationship. But it seems that the pot has been boiling over, and one person who likes to stir the pot is Rachel Zegler. Now, you may know her as the actress that's set to play the Snow White in the 2025 live-action remake, or you may also know her as the person who's been ruining the publicity for the film, going on press tours, bashing the original Snow White, saying things like this.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
So now that we've recapped just how entrenched in her political ideology she is, that we can't even enjoy a classic Disney film, it should come as no surprise that she wants nothing to do with Trump. But what I didn't expect is for her to take it as far as she did, as she took to Instagram to say some colorful words about Donald Trump. That she finds herself speechless. Another 4 years of hatred in a world that we don't want to live in, where it'll be hard to raise her daughter, leading us towards a world that'll force her to have a baby she doesn't want, towards a world that is fearful, continuing to say she shouldn't be as shocked, but is, that she's heartbroken to friends who awoke fear, I think she meant to say awoke fearful, and is here to cry, yell, hug, saying the left fails to forge a new path forward, but that this loss shouldn't have happened and certainly shouldn't have been by so many votes. The last paragraph of this story, saying that she echoes Ethel Cain's statement more than anything, made Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. Referring to singer-songwriter Ethel Cain, who said, "If you voted for Trump, I hope that peace never finds you. You have to live the rest of your life with the knowledge and guilt for what you've done. Calling to hold politicians accountable, as local government is where we make real change. That this is not the end. Concluding it with, I will love through these 4 years as best as I can, Donald Trump. Which that entire rant pretty much contradicts itself and is very hypocritical because on one hand she says that she's going to live with love, but then says Donald Trump. She started that entire rant with 4 years of hatred, but then goes on to say some hateful things about Donald Trump supporters and Donald Trump himself. She's basically like a walking contradiction. Because while saying what she said, she also posts things on X like, I hope the world becomes kinder. Or remember to be kind and to treat each other with patience and empathy, saying you deserve love and to live without fear. With JJ here saying, I don't know why Disney Studios picked Zegler for Snow White. Snow White is beautiful and kind. She is neither. Or Kyle here saying, no one is going to see your trash film. You have zero in common with the idea of Snow White. You're not kind, not sweet. You're a privileged, spoiled brat that doesn't know when to shut their mouth. You should be one of Cinderella's sisters. Now, she did issue an apology. Hi, everyone. I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. This week has been emotional for so many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion, even when it differs from my own, and that she's committed to contributing positively towards a better tomorrow. Which all sounds nice, but this isn't the first time she's done something like this. Because for a recap, when Mandalorian star Gina Carano was fired for jokingly putting beep boop bop pronouns in her Twitter bio, Rachel posted on X, do not make fun of pronouns, in which the replies were things like, Gina Carano, this one's for you, or Gina Carano, maybe your goofy ass can take notes from an actress who can actually act. And later, Rachel specifically mentioned Gina in a post on X saying, I forgot that I blocked Gina Carano when she was making fun of pronouns. Good riddance. So yeah, she has a pattern of weaponizing her social platform to go against people who disagree with her politically, which is why her apology was so disingenuous to me. Now, she did say in her rant that the left has failed to forge a new path forward, and in the context of the 2024 election, she is right. But what she doesn't realize is that she's part of the problem, and it's rhetoric like hers that almost got Donald Trump killed. And after the election, the fallout was more than just people wishing bad things upon others. Case in point would be the Seattle woman who used an ice axe to murder her father, in which they've charged Corey Burke with first-degree murder of her father, Timothy Burke, in an alleged domestic violence incident, which prosecutors say was premeditated after an argument about turning off the household lights. Who, when she couldn't get her father to turn off the lights, retrieved an ice-climbing axe, tripped and strangled him, and bit him, and admitted to striking him several times on the head and side with both the blunt and sharp ends of the axe. And they found that Burke had been upset about the election, and knowing Trump would beat Kamala Harris, allegedly snapped. Now, I think it's worth noting that Burke, 33, is married to prominent transgender writer Samantha Lee Allen, Public Records show, as Allen is the author of Real Queer America, LGBT Stories from Red States, and an editor at Them, a transgender news publication. Now, I don't care about the fact that Burke's partner was transgender. I really could care less. I just think it's important to point out the fact that Burke was very clearly far left and easily influenced by the rhetoric of, oh, Trump is Hitler, he's going to take away all your rights. Things that the legacy media has been pushing all this time. And unfortunately, this wasn't the only election tragedy that happened. Because Exhibit B, you have Anthony Nephew, who killed his wife, ex-wife, and 2 sons before self-deleting. The killings were discovered when officers conducted a welfare check at the house where Anthony Nephew's ex-wife Erin and son Jacob, aged only 15, lived, as Erin hadn't shown up for work that day, which was uncharacteristic and caused for concern among her co-workers. And of course, Abramson and Jacob were found dead from gunshot wounds. And then they went to Anthony Nephew's home and discovered the bodies of his then-wife Catherine and his son Oliver, who was only 7. And finally, they found Anthony's body, dead from self-inflicted wounds. And a little about him, he was someone who'd frequently rant against Donald Trump and Republicans online prior to this. One post being Obama, Biden, and Harris with captions Hope, Heal, and Grow, and Donald Trump with Hate as the caption. Another post listing numerous Tim Walz achievements and J.D. Vance having only one notable achievement. Another where he accused Trump of pushing religious extremism. And one slightly more sinister post saying that the Republican Party's answer to domestic violence is making it harder for the women to leave. Gilead, here we come. Which, for context, Gilead references The Handmaid's Tale, implying that Republicans want to turn our country into a dystopian society where women have no rights. But anyways, Anthony Nephew had previously threatened his wife and said he wanted his family killed if Trump became president. And I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, especially somebody who was clearly mentally ill. I'm just saying that there's a pattern on both sides. When you have extreme rhetoric that vilifies one side, it makes people crazy. And by and large, I blame the legacy media, and I also blame people like Rachel Zegler who have a platform but choose to perpetuate hate. Because we're not even 2 weeks post Donald Trump's victory, and have already gone off the rails collectively. And unfortunately, I feel like this is just the beginning, and that things are about to get a lot crazier. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.